Professional.
My name is Junie Donlavey. I'm the car owner and crew chief on a 76 Ford, car number 90. We run the Grand National Circuit with NASCAR. Our driver is Dick Brooks, and our crew is made up of a right front tire man who's Kenneth Bell.
We can get in and out just very consistently under 20 seconds. And it gives you a good feeling and really help Dick out too. I know when we muck up in the pits, we let the driver down.
A jack man who's Leonard Tony.
I'm a machinist by trade, and I make all the little parts like pullers and bushings and things like that. During the race, I'm the jack man.
Richard Donlavey is on the right tire.
The pits is just as important as the driver taking the car around the track. It is. If you ain't got a good pit crew, then you're not going to win a race. Ain't no way. Unless everybody else just falls dead.
The man that carries the tires to the tire men, his name is Bill Revel. Our gas men are made up of Robert Morris.
We have to get the cans up on the wall and then up on our shoulder, ready to go in. And then we have to watch each other. As one pulls out, the other one has to go right behind.
And Dave Boland. We also have a man who catches the gas for any spillage. His name is Vernon Caudle.
My nickname is Fluff, and I'm 17 years old. I'm still in school.
We have a man that cleans the windshield and gives the driver a drink of water. His name is Howard Pincheski.
We just like to finish and finish good, but we'd like to win one. Everybody wants to win one.
In the pits, we have to keep track of all the laps that we make, so we have a scorekeeper, and his name is Russell Page.
Time in the pit stops, they like to know what they're doing, because the next time maybe they can shave a couple seconds off or something. It makes a big difference.
That makes up the entire pit crew for when we make the pit stops on all the races. Dick Brooks is our driver.
You spend 80 miles or 100 miles at gas stop trying to catch up with somebody, and you catch up with them, and you come in and they have a 2 or 3 second stop faster than you do, and they just it just seems like the whole thing goes away. So you got to go out and you do it again, and a good pit stop is very important. You'll get 20, 22 gallons of gas and 2 tires, and hopefully in 15, 16 seconds.
We found that together we could all form a pretty good team, but individually we didn't have a whole lot going for it. So that's the reason we all banded together, and we've been pretty much of a success in that type of racing. When you run against Petty's and Yarboroughs and Woods that have a lot of money behind them, it makes it pretty tough, but we feel like we've done a real good job with the guys coming in at night working and being at the racetrack on weekends, and we have no paid members whatsoever. And all of the guys just enjoy the racing game. The other teams, they haven't quite figured out what we've got yet, because there's no other team on the circuit that's made up like ours. But each one of these guys have stayed real late at night when we've had problems, and never once do they ever say, well, that's good enough. They always try to do better.
I think these people are absolutely super because they do it for nothing. They enjoy it more, I guess, than most people do, because most of them pay their own expenses, and that makes me feel safe in the car, because I think that probably by doing it that way, that they're really serious about that. If they put a piece on, it's going to be tight and it's not going to fall off.
Right now it's not hurting.
Well, I don't know. The only thing I know we could do might help a little bit would be tighten it up a little bit going in. But that thing going down the backstretch there, that's kind of spooky. We might have popped the rocker on it or something.
On all the tracks that we run, we have a setup that we have to go with, and we keep a record of all the springs, shocks, and the front end settings of all the tracks. Anytime that we make a change, we enter it in the book, and then the next race, if it didn't work, then we make a different change, and that way we try to keep abreast of the best way to get around the racetrack. A short track is different from a mile track, and a mile track is a little different from a mile and a half. So we have to try to get the car to go in the corner, not be loose, so the driver doesn't have the problem of having to get out of the throttle so he can make the best time he can.
Now, I've driven cars where a lady could have driven it, you know, and other cars to where it takes a lot of physical effort, where your hands will go to sleep, or your fingers will get so tired that you can't hardly hold the wheels anymore. It just, a lot of it depends on how well the car's set up.
Well, race morning we get to the track and I go out and I sweep out the pits and we get everything set up and make sure everything is working properly, oil the wrenches, and make sure everything is about ready for the race. Then we bring the toolboxes out after we've gotten the car on the line. You want to feel like you did everything right, and ain't nothing gonna happen on what you did. All the things in the pits are set up right. You ain't gonna have to worry about none of the guys coming up to you and say, we gotta do this and this.
We try to get him calmed down, and we know he's getting tense. So do we. We get all tensed up too. We make sure he's strapped in right and all the switches in the right position.
All drivers, to and in your cars, gentlemen, immediately please. All other personnel off the pit road. Gentlemen, start your engines!
My mother, she was asked one time on a radio station, when did you really know that Dick wanted to race? And she said, well, I think when he was a little bitty boy, he used to go around pushing cars around in the dirt, going id, nid, 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 until all the veins popped out on his neck. He's probably wanted to do it all his life.
When they start the engines and they start the parade lap, then you know then that all of the work that you put into it, and I don't care how many times you hear it or see it, that is what it's all about. You're just waiting for that first lap. Anytime that you go out on the racetrack, you have thousands of people that's looking at your automobile and looking at the type of work that you're doing. So anything that you do, even though you don't have a lot of money, as long as you do the best that you can, as you can, then you can do a good job and show them that you enjoy what you're doing. At the beginning of the race, we give the driver a look at their pit board, and that lets him know in just about where he's got to look in case we give him a message with the pit board. That's just to remind him to turn on the cooler for the rear end.
Should duck down the pit road this time and clear the track for racing. There goes pace car into the pit road. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all. Stand up, stomp your feet, whistle, and clap your hands, and let's send them on their way. A beautiful array of Grand National Championship racing cars take the great flag from Rupert Estimate. And the pole position car out front as they go down into the first turn. Buddy Baker runs by the pole position holdup. Baker has a hood out front, going off the second turn. Dave Marcus comes charging back. Up and above that wheel to wheel. A lot of action down in the third turn.
When the race starts, we check his time, and we try to get him to set a pace that's pretty close to what the leader's running, within a half a second. Because a lot of times the leaders will jump out and run pretty gung-ho. But we know it's a 500-mile race, so we try to set our pace so that we can finish the race.
Pit crew should be very aware of everything that's happening on the track. The driver himself is just concerned with his own particular thing. To find, if he's running in one groove, he needs to find another one, if it's not fast enough. If it is the fastest, he wants to make sure not lose it. He should be able to know when the tire temperatures and stuff change or the track changes or stuff. But the pit crew should be aware of everybody on the racetrack.
From the very beginning, I'll start to watch and keep track of the laps and the time of each lap. The time helps us determine whether the driver is getting tired, maybe slowing down a little bit, or how the condition of the tires are, maybe slipping or something like that. The laps that we keep is for gas purposes and tires. I did let them run out of gas one time in Atlanta. I never heard the end of it, but when I tried to give that job to someone else, they didn't want it either.
I was clocking the leaders against Dick, and he was running real close to him in speed. Brooks was turning with about 130 miles an hour, somewhere along the line.
Most of the time, Brooks and I will talk about how the car's handling and whether he needs chassis change on the first pit stop. And we'll also check and see how the tires are wearing by when the competitors stop.
Dick Brooks riding his track high, wide, and handsome, riding right against the guardrail now. Dick Brooks amazes me the way he keeps riding that fourth turn. That boy's riding within 6 inches of the wall.
At Rockingham, the asphalt is kind of worn away and left quite a few rocks sticking up. Down inside is the quickest way to go, but most of the time it wears the tires out too quick. You will most of the time have to change tires about 70 miles. Where if you run up top, you can get by pretty close to 80 to 90 miles. So we go for the little extra distance. We'll use approximately 20 to 24 tires if we're careful. The cost of the tires run pretty close to $100 a piece. So you have to be as careful as you can, because the more you spend, the less you make.
We have 5 cars in the same lap. Richard Petty is in the lead, Bobby Allison second, Cale Yarborough third. Benny Parsons is fourth in car number 72, and in fifth place, Dick Brooks in car number 90. And all 5 of those cars are now in the same lap. Fifth place car number 90, Dick Brooks. He's in the fourth turn. Dick's still riding the high road.
The main reason that we have a radio is to let him know whether it's a caution flag out or whether it's a big wreck on the back stretch that he can't see, and then I let him know, and then when it's time to make a pit stop.
Everybody's in. David Pearson, Al Walton, Richard Brooks, Jackie Rogers, Benny Parsons, Buddy, everybody. David Pearson gets out. Richard Petty comes by. Richard back in the lead. Bobby Isaac goes out. Pittsburgh Field goes out. Buddy Baker goes out. Bobby Allison goes out. Dave Marcus down pit road.
We really had a good stop there. Everything went off. Richard had a little trouble with one lug nut hanging in his socket, but he overcame that, and we still had a 20.2 pit stop.
let's say 6 seconds on the track, it'd be all the way down that front straightaway. Or if you got a crew that can do a pit stop, 2 tires and gas in 15, 16 seconds, and the other crew has a little bit of a problem, just any kind of problem that knocks them back to about 22, 23 seconds, then you'd have picked up that whole straightaway right there in the pitch.
Bobby Ellison, followed by Cale Yarborough, then comes Richard Petty, Petty Parsons, Buddy Baker. Dave Marcus is in 6th position right now. Buddy Baker is 15.
We just changed the right side tires 15 or 20 laps before. So on this caution, we were going to change the left side. Coming down pit road, he told me that he had a little problem with the right side. So the crew was all ready to make a left side tire change, and I had to change them real quick. And then when they went around to change the right side, we noticed that the left side was pretty bad, so we made a 4-tire pit stop. If there's an emergency there, then they react to it as fast as they can without a lot of fumbling around.
So a whole lot of time we change our minds doing the pit stop. On a function like this, every man and everything he does affect the other 5 men on this crew. If you have any problems, it just throws your timing all off.
At Darlington one time they did a test on me and I lost 9 pounds. Well, that's all liquids. You dehydrate a lot. Some of the guys lost as much as 12 pounds. At Rockingham last year, it was so cold, you'd ride around racetrack under the caution flag with your hands between your legs trying to keep them warm, And at about 400 miles, I had to go, we had a radio in the car and I hollered at Junie and I said, Junie, I got to go so bad I'm about to die, man. He said, go ahead. What happened to Bobby was, I think he just thought that he had passed the car and he pulled up on him and maybe the car had gotten off the turn a little bit better than he did. You got to be very aware of that you're not cutting the guy too short, because some guys just won't lift and let you go, and some of them will kind of hold you tight.
Everybody is anxious, and on a restart from a caution, you have all the cars bunched up, and if one car makes one slight error, then that causes something that happened to Allison. When they took Allison out of the automobile, other than being shooken up and bruised up a little bit, he was ready to go home. Like at Talladega, we did lose a car. Brooks was running second right with Baker, and he was as fast as anything on the track. But we demolished the car.
And one of them tried to get in a little too quick and kind of touched it in the rear quarter panel and got me a little bit sideways, and when it did, the car just started flying. And I can remember saying to myself, my God, this is going to be bad. All I know is when it gets up in the air like that, it gets kind of quiet and lonesome, and
I clocked him just at 185 in that turn before he wrecked it. It took a lot of people to put the thing back together again, but we all took pride in getting it back. Not just getting it back, but getting it so it looked like it never been wrecked. If you look at the car out there now, we're running it.
But the same crew that we have right now came over and worked night and day and had the car ready for Dover, which was only about a month later. And Brooks ran second with the same car. You couldn't hire the crew that we have for $100,000 a year with the amount of work that they do. We've had no mechanical problems over the last 3 years. Not one thing has ever fallen off that automobile.
Chief tells you when the car is coming in, you know, and you go back in, you pick up that 10-gallon can of gas, which weighs about 80 or 90 pounds, throw it up on your shoulder and get that set on the side of the wall, wait for the car to come in. And when it comes in, you jump over and try to hit that little bitty hole. That way you've got like 15 seconds to put 20 gallons of gas in.
Oil on the windshield caused us to lose the race. I mean, we could have won first race at Talladega. One of the cars was throwing a lot of oil, and Brooks's windshield was pretty well covered, and he came in for a pit stop, couldn't see out the windshield. It made the pit stop slower, you know. Our stop was quick, but his approach was slow.
I was maybe moving a little different on the track than the rest of them were, and I could come off the corners with them a little bit, but I really didn't have it down the straightaway, and it just seemed like it was getting a little bit weaker and a little bit weaker, and I thought, well, maybe I'm getting a little bit tired or something, you know, so I'll stay with it for a while, and then it actually started fluttering a little bit, and you could, every once in a while you could feel it flutter, or you could feel it, you know, miss a little bit, and it kind of takes what sap there is in it, and I guess, you know, after 350 or 400 laps in a race, you're getting kind of tired.
Brooks came on the radio and told us that we dropped a cylinder, and we were trying to wait until a caution flag came out so we could check and see whether the plug wire had come off or what had happened.
We had lost 2 cylinders, and we just were checking to make sure all the spark plug wires are on, and we had planned to change the 2 spark plugs, which we did. But when we stopped the engine and tried to restart it, locked up.
You've dropped the valve, you just have to do the best you can. All right, put the plug wire back on it. I don't think you can go anyway. It looked like it's dropped the valve.
At the time, I didn't know what had happened, really. You know, I hadn't really thought about a valve. Junie started putting the hood down and started shoving it back so quick. It's kind of a man you've spent all day, you know, and now it's all over.
But you got to take it in stride, because if you get mad and everything, you just look forward to the next race and keep your enthusiasm up.
You've got to take pride in what you do, pride in the workmanship that you put into it.
You can tell the way a man does his job, whether he takes pride in putting the wheel on or getting the exhaust pipes fitting to where they don't hit the floorboard and cause a vibration. Anything that he does, if he does the best he can.
My daddy told me a long time ago, he said, son, if anything is worth doing at all, it's worth doing right. And if you can't put all of everything you got into anything,